Hello everybody, Flamin' Shark back with another video, and I don't know if I'm actually going to label this as the 30,000 subscriber special, but that's essentially what this is. I have a multitude of random videos that I, are kind of on the back burner to eventually react to, or whatever, right? This is one of them, and I figured, since it's a bit of a subscriber milestone, I suppose, and it's also one that obviously we've gotten on a past life on another Flaming Shark channel, not on the Flaming Shark V3, but on Friendship as Sharks. So, why not, right? Yeah, this is my reaction. I've never seen this. I actually didn't know this existed for like a decade. And then not too long ago, I heard about this and I was like, oh my god, because I've always as a content creator, if you ever get like a strike or anything like that, there's a thing in your account where it'll be like it'll tell you have a strike, and then the next thing it'll ask you to do is you have to go through YouTube copyright school. And what it is it's usually like 4 questions that basically they ask you about how copyright works, and if you get 3 or 4 right, then you can proceed, and if not, then it's like, bro, you failed copyright school. And it's really silly. It's something it's usually like very obvious stuff, and it's very irritating because obviously in many cases when people get copyright strikes, they really shouldn't be, and it's just YouTube being YouTube. But it's almost, especially, and it's done in a very like childish way, and it's very, it almost comes off as arrogant, I should say. Now, obviously, this is YouTube's platform, so that is pretty funny. Apparently, people have actually reacted to this back in the day. I didn't know this existed. Now, this is 10 years old. This is older than I've been on YouTube. I got to the original video. It's got like 11 million views. It's got like, I think, twice as many dislikes to likes. And the comments are disabled. I don't know if that's because this counts as kids, or more likely because the comments were a shitstorm and YouTube disabled them themselves. I would imagine that's the latter is the case. But I figured it would be funny to watch this. I've never seen this, and like I said, I'm sure some of you have seen this. It has 11 million views, even though this video is literally 10 years old. But I figure we could have a few laughs, and I figure this would just be something funny. Like, me, the person that's had multiple channels terminated back in the day, because of various BS, reacting to YouTube copyright school of all things. So I think this will be really funny. So I can't wait till I get a strike on this video. That would actually be the funniest thing that could possibly happen. I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, let's jump in to my reaction to YouTube copyright school in 3, 2, 1, and play. Oh, Happy Tree Friends. Okay, I have actually heard of Happy Tree Friends, but I never watched it. This audio is so annoying, and I'll probably have to turn it down in editing. Jesus, it's loud. Alright. Lumpy and the Lumpettes.
Everybody's really been looking forward to the new video from Lumpy and the Lumpettes.
Alright.
Even Lumpy.
Nice. Damn. That sucks.
Russell's a huge fan.
Oh my god, is he just gonna...
Can't wait
oh
to
my
tell all
god.
his friends about it.
This is already so bad.
Hey, Russell! You didn't create that video. You just copied someone else's content.
Sure.
Uploading someone else's content without permission could get you into a lot of trouble.
Great.
Maybe copyright infringement.
This is... What is this? Okay, first of all, that is copyright infringement. There's no may. That is literally... That just is copyright infringement. So there's that, right? Like, you can't just go to a movie and just record the movie and put it on YouTube. That is literally copyright infringement. Now, you could record the audience reactions to the movie, You could just record the audio of the reactions from the audience. We've seen that on YouTube. I'm sure some of you have seen that. It was very popular for like Marvel movies and stuff, especially Endgame. But the Marvel movies in general, you would do that. But yeah, you can't freaking. Yeah, duh. Oh my god. And they said may. That just is copyright infringement. What the
Uploading someone else's content without permission could get you into a lot of trouble. It may
Technically,
be copyright infringement.
Technically, that's a true statement.
Copyright is a form of protection for original works of authorship,
Yep.
including literary,
Yep.
dramatic, musical, graphic, and audiovisual creation.
It's fiction, basically.
Copyright infringement occurs when a copyrighted work is reproduced, distributed, performed, or publicly displayed without the permission of the copyright holder
Yep.
or the legal right to do so.
This is all true.
Even though YouTube is a free site, you can
Sure.
get in serious trouble for copyright infringement. You can be sued and found liable for monetary damages. You could lose your booty.
Yeah, this is all true, except, I never went to a movie theater and capped and filmed a movie on my phone and then posted it to YouTube.
Or worse, you could lose your YouTube account.
But that has happened. Twice.
You only
Well,
get
actually, a
few
million
chances.
times. Yep.
If YouTube receives a valid notification of alleged copyright infringement from
A valid notification of alleged copyright infringement from a...
copyright holder for one of your videos,
Sure.
the video will be removed in accordance with the law.
That part is actually not that... Honestly, I don't mind that part. But if they're going to get into how the counterclaim process goes, which is become an absolute mess nowadays, then we really get into where things get wonky as hell.
You'll be notified via email.
Oh, what the hell? My file's sussed. Okay, what's going on with my file here? Let me go back.
The video will be removed in accordance with the law.
Yep.
You'll be notified via email and in your account.
Yep.
And you'll get a strike.
Oh, boy.
If YouTube finds you're a repeat offender,
Mm-hmm.
you'll get banned for life.
Except, here's the thing. No, because you just dispute the strikes because most people, not everyone, I mean, if you're doing what they say in this video, of course, but if it's BS, which it usually is, and this isn't even just a me thing, this is just a YouTube thing, most copyright strikes are BS. More often than not, the vast majority of cases, they are absolute BS, and they're just messing with people's livelihoods. It's really, really sad. And this video, we're not even halfway through, and this video is already a joke because YouTube doesn't care. But it's funny. It is really funny. I'm curious to see if they get into what I think they're about to go into.
Here's an idea. Why not make your own video?
Yeah. Like this. Like I'm making my own video about YouTube Copyright School.
Uh-oh, you're making a video of Lumpy's live performance of his song, which is still protected by copyright.
Yeah,
You still may
I'm
not
not
be able to upload
recording
it
live
without
concerts
permission.
and throwing it on YouTube. What's next? I get it, he's a pirate, by the way. That's so stupid.
Your reuse of Lumpy's content is clever, but did you get permission for it? Mashups or remixes of content may also require permission from the original copyright owner.
That kinda
depending
gets
on
in-
whether or not the use is a fair use.
Oh boy,
United
here we
States copyright
go.
law allows for the fair use of copyrighted material under certain limited circumstances without requiring permission from the owner. Under the law, determinations of fair use take into account the purpose of the use, the nature of the copyrighted work, the amount and substantiality of the work used in relation to the work as a whole, and the effect of the use upon the potential market for the copyrighted work. Other jurisdictions may have similar copyright provisions protecting fair use or fair dealing. If you are uncertain as to whether a specific use qualifies as a fair use, you should consult a qualified copyright attorney.
And that pretty much sums it up. right? So that gets into the whole deal of fair use and what actually is and isn't fair use, and you get into the interesting debate of the interpretation of the law. And that does sum it up. That is essentially what fair use is in the context of the United States, which is a context that's relevant here because both Google, YouTube, and myself both reside in California, which obviously is in the United States. So in regards specifically to me, the U.S. copyright law is where this is relevant, right? It's really interesting because people like to, and I think where you'll see the main, I want to get the full, okay, that's close enough. Usually where people will, I guess if you were to kind of argue against me, right? So like it says, determinations of fair use take into account the purpose and character of the use. I don't think there's any argument that the purpose and character of the use is for me to add my commentary and my reaction and review. It's not to re-upload the content, right? The nature of the copyrighted work, that is what it is. But the key thing here, the amount and substantiality of the work used in relation to the work as a whole. And what that is saying is, in the context of using copyrighted footage, which I do use copyrighted footage, what is the amount of the footage and the substantiality of the footage, right? This is where you get into where I guess you could actually have an argument here, right? So from the amount standpoint, I use the whole thing, and that's where you could argue, oh, it's not fair use, right? But the substantiality, I think, is where it's very clearly fair use, right? Because literally it's in the corner of the screen. It's the secondary deal, right? It's all this stuff, and it's really interesting because I think that's where it's key, because this is one of the factors of fair use, and it's the amount and substantiality, and the two are linked, right? Because both of those need to be applied to this argument for that statute to apply. And even then, you can make the argument that the overall is there, but even if you want to argue for this individual statute, it's about the amount and substantiality. And the amount is the only thing where there's any leg to stand on, because the effect of the use upon the potential market for the copyrighted work is a joke. Obviously, if someone's reacting to shows, people are reacting to shows, it increases the popularity of a show. It increases the knowledge of the show because people who otherwise might not either be exposed to the show or otherwise might not have even heard of the show or might not have even just decided not to watch it will become interested if someone that they follow is interested in the show. It's classic, right? And then one of my best examples for this, well, I guess I have two really good examples for this, both series I've reacted to on the channel. Ruby, and this really extends to Rooster Teeth's content, but specifically Ruby because that is their cash cow. Ruby, while it would have been very popular regardless, I have no doubt, became even more popular because of their mindset towards reaction videos, and thus people who did reactions, so many of them over the years, and still to this day are jumping on the Ruby wagon and reacting to Ruby. And that only increases the popularity because while obviously many of those people have already seen the show or have seen it multiple times, it is keeping it in the minds of people, so they're more likely to buy merch or whatever, but it's also exposing it to new people who otherwise might not have watched Ruby. Another great example, and the numbers speak for themselves with both of these series, is Vivzy Pop. Vivzy Pop, now this is specifically mainly Hell of a Boss, but you could also point to the success of the Has Been Hotel pilot, as well as some of her other works. But the Spindlehorse stuff, and specifically Hell of a Boss, which has actually been an ongoing series, has had immense success on YouTube. And a huge part of that has been all the various people that react to it because they allow for that. And because of that, it's further bolstered the success of the works. And I think that shows the power of people making videos about the content. By when companies aren't being sus about making content on the work, it increases the value of the work, and it just means more money for the people involved. So when you get into the effect of the use upon the potential market for the copyrighted work, it is literally, not only is it neutral, it's actually positive. So that's where you really get into the joke, because I've heard that argument before, and that argument's a joke. And yeah, so it's really funny. It's really funny. But my point is here, because this is what I was waiting for them to get into fair use. Fair use is why reactions are okay, and fair use. And there's the 10-minute rule, quote unquote. And you've seen people do all these weird edits that try to talk about transformative content and all that stuff. But in reality, if you're actually doing a commentary and reaction and criticism and review of the video, the amount of footage doesn't matter, because the substantiality of the footage and how it's being used and the context is what's key. So it's very simple, but hopefully I was able to break that down pretty well. I'm not an actual lawyer on the subject, but it's interesting, right? And this pretty much sums it up.
Copyright attorney.
But yes, a copyright attorney.
If someone copies your work after you posted it, you have the right to take it down. YouTube provides tools for rights holders to control the use of their content.
And that's a good thing, to be fair.
If someone takes down your video by mistake, or as a result of a misidentification
Here
of
we
the
go.
material to be removed, there's a counter-notification process for that.
Yep.
You can send YouTube a notice that there was an error. But be careful.
God, this is so old.
If you misuse the process, you could end up in court. And then you would get in a lot of trouble. That's how the law works.
Yes, that is how the law works. But this is where we get into the interesting part. And probably the biggest problem with YouTube in regards to copyright is the counter notification system is broken and has been for a long time. So the way it works, right? So you get a strike. You want to dispute this strike. So you say why your video is not, why your video shouldn't be striked, why the strike should be removed, right? You send it off to YouTube. YouTube looks at it, and they decide one of three things. There are three responses. It's either we forwarded it to the claimant, and then you have to wait a certain amount of days, and then if they don't respond, you get your video back. If they do respond, then, further steps go with legal action and stuff, right? The second option is they reject it, and they say, we don't think you have the rights. And the third option is they're unsure. And then you're allowed to send another notification, right? So here's the problem with this system. YouTube, in its copyright system, allows, if they send a response and they say, we send it to the claimant, they give them ample time. They give them, at minimum, 10 business days to respond, right? So they give them ample time to look at this and be like, no, this is our copyrighted material. We're going to keep fighting this. But that's the thing, right? They don't give the actual person getting struck that fair shake, because they could just say, no, you're wrong, and not even send that through to the claimant. And that's where the system is broken. If the copyright holder wants to make that argument, and we can go back and forth on that, I don't mind that. But when YouTube decides what the copyright holder thinks, that's where we get into the issues. And that's where my biggest issue with YouTube's copyright system. It's not even like false strikes are bound to happen in any form of fair system, but the actual process of disputing strikes is the worst. It is literally a crapshoot depending on how YouTube's running. Like it literally makes no sense what they let through, what they don't. I had a situation with a Ruby video, random Ruby video that got struck a while back. It was like I think it was Volume 8, Chapter 2. It was either Chapter 2 or Chapter 3 of Volume 8, way after I finished Volume 8. It was in this year. And, yep, that was the thing, and I sent the dispute. They said, we're unsure. Sent the dispute, we're unsure. Sent the dispute, we're unsure. Sent the dispute, we're unsure. The fifth time I sent the dispute, they sent it through, and the video would eventually get cleared. It was so weird, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. I mean, that just tells you right there. So, it's very sus, but I think it's funny. And I figured, why not talk about this, right? I think I, of all people, have quite a bit of perspective on this. So, figured, why not? Let's talk about it. We got a little under a minute left. It's interesting, but let's hear if there's anything else of interest in this video.
That's more like it. By singing an original song, you're creating your own content.
Yeah.
When you make an original video, You're the owner of your own copyright. And
Sure.
you have the right to post it to YouTube.
Yep.
Original content is what makes YouTube interesting.
Yep.
Start creating your own, and who knows, your video
Yep.
could explode.
Yeah.
If you're still unsure about copyright issues, YouTube has some resources as a starting point. For more information, click the link for copyright at the bottom of every page.
Wow, vaudeville at its finest. Lovely. Is that it? This is just black screen? I guess it's just, yeah, it's just black screen. Okay. So that was YouTube Copyright School, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those of you who have not decided. That video, honestly, I honestly thought it would be a little bit worse than that, but it was still pretty bad. On its surface, there's nothing wrong with that video, but the implementation of this stuff is where the jokes are. And the funny thing is in 2011, the system actually wasn't that bad. But in the context of 2021, it's really a joke, and it's really funny. I mean, it's interesting to kind of see something like this, because this video is still up. It's still on YouTube. Like I said, it has like 11 million views last I checked. Like it's wild. But I figured it would be interesting to share some of my thoughts with you about this, because this isn't something I talk about, right? And it's something that I have a very fond and long and arduous history, and even beyond all the 3 channels or whatever, I've had countless terminations back in the day that I would fight and win and get my channel back, and there's just so much that YouTube does in a way that's so illogical, and it shows how little they care oftentimes, and it's really sad because we can talk about me, right? And I made my case, and it's pretty simple, but reactions are fair use, right? But you want to take it a step further, it's not just reaction videos that have this issue. There's videos that are, I think, even more obviously fair use that get into this same issue. And it's like, it's so funny because it's not limited to, a lot of the videos that get striked make so much less sense than even my experiences with YouTube striking my videos. It's actually hilarious, some of the videos that get striked over the years, and the various situations that arise from that. It's really funny. But I figured that this would be a fun little way to kind of just meme on YouTube. It's funny because despite everything I said, I love YouTube. I think the platform could be infinitely better. I think there's so much wrong with the platform, but that doesn't change the fact that it is something that unfortunately is one of a kind, and there really is nothing like it on its level, and it's something that, for better or worse, is here to stay, and it's something that, because of YouTube, I've been able to do so much that I never would have been able to do otherwise, and I don't know what my life would be like without YouTube. So I love YouTube. YouTube, you're great, right? That's a really shitty heart, but YouTube's great in a lot of ways. But their copyright system needs to be fixed, and I know none of them will watch this video, but it's true. Their copyright system is garbage. They know it. They don't care. Hopefully this video doesn't get copyright striked. That would be funny. That would be so funny. But regardless, I do, in the end, still do love this platform because it's given me a chance to meet all of you in this weird space and this weird content creation. So, I don't know. I don't really have much else to say, but I figured this would be a fun little video to do as kind of an off video. I actually recorded the JoJo's reaction before this, which will be going up on Wednesday. But hopefully you guys enjoyed my commentary on YouTube Copyright School. It was something. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, it was kind of like, some of the content was kind of what I expected. I didn't know it would be animated. I didn't know that it would even be animated. So it actually fit even more because it was animated. So but it makes sense because actually when I see YouTube Copyright School, I talk about that. When you get a strike, you do see that character. I forgot their name, but the pirate, with it was that you do see that character. There's an image of them. In fact, actually, it might even be a video. It might even be a link to the video. It probably is a link to the video. Oh my god, I didn't even put that together. I'm so stupid. Of course. Oh my god, that's great. Wow, I feel really stupid. I could have found this video years ago. Oh well. Regardless, here we are now, and I never watched the video because I understand copyright, and I, always pass their questions, but I guess that makes a lot more sense now. Regardless, that was something else. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. It was a little different than my normal content, but I figured for me specifically, it was very appropriate. I think of all the people on the platform, I think I'm one of the most qualified people to talk about how silly this video was. And it turned out to be about as silly as I think we all probably expected. I'm sure you guys have seen this as a huge video, apparently, and it makes sense why it has so many views. And it makes sense why the like-dislike ratio is what it is and why the comments are disabled. Let's just leave it at that. So anyways, Flamin' Shark, obviously if you want to support the channel, check out the Patreon. If you want to check out the Discord, you can, all that stuff. But anyways, Flamin' Shark signing out. Hope you guys have a wonderful, fantastical day. And I'll see you next time with another video. Thanks for watching. Peace.